Not a one. All right? What makes it valuable? Because I'd say it is. I think it smells good on me. All right? But why is it that usher costs so much? Because of the guy who stands behind it. All right? Because of the fella what it stands for. That's the only way you measure these kind of things. Elizabeth Taylor. You know, whether it's, what is hers called? White diamond, that's right. Is it expensive? Yeah, okay, we don't know, do. More than those, alright. But why? Because it's Elizabeth Taylor. So her value, if you will, whatever value that may be, attached to her name, attached to that, or that it's, that it's associated with her, increases the value of it. And so it is here. What makes the value of what this woman has done so that it could not be measured? Brethren, when we finally get a handle on ourselves and on our possessions and the relationship that they have to the use for Jesus Christ and His kingdom, that's when we begin to understand the true value, the true worth of all that we have. We must believe as King David did in 1 Chronicles 29, when they are, the passage I read that opened this up this morning, when he talks about the people giving to the temple. As I read through that again, I was just simply amazed at it. And why it was that when Israel was taken off into captivity, and when these kings, foreign kings, would come in and subjugate and capture, and they'd go into the temple and they'd literally tear it apart because of the gold and silver that was everywhere. It says there that the temple walls themselves were inlaid with gold and silver. The people gave of their own free will, generously. And David says this, "But who am I? And who are my people that we should be able to offer as generously as this? For all things come from you, and from your hand we have given back to you." David acknowledged the fact that all that they had came from God. It wasn't because of who they were and their ability to do it, even though it was. But it was still the fact that he acknowledged God gave them everything they had, and they were simply giving it back to Him. Oh, and that's how we understand the value of what we have as we return it, as we use it for Him. Is there anything that's ours that is not His? Any possession? Any bank account? It is not there because He has given us the job, the health, the wherewithal, the contacts. When Ted Turner donated $1 billion to his favorite charity, the world sat up and took notice. When that little widow, also in Mark's Gospel, put in 2 small copper coins, Jesus sat up and took notice. And he makes a statement that she's given more than all of those others who were pouring it all in. Why is that? Because she understood the relationship to what she had was of total dependence upon God. And therefore, if she put all of it in, what did she realize? What did she believe would happen in her life? He gives. He supplies. Total need. Absolute dependence. Complete provision. Something happened in this woman's life, the woman that comes in now and breaks open this vial of alabaster, pure nard, and pours it over the head of Jesus. Something happened in her life in relationship to Jesus that motivated her to do this, to take this valued item, incredibly valued item, and lavishly sacrifice it for Him. I could ask us the question, what have we of value given? And hopefully the answer to that would be me, us, my life. And everything else follows from there. Hopefully, brothers and sisters, she represents us as believers of things that you and I are so grateful for because of what Jesus has done for us, that we express it in ways that other people look at it and they think, well, that's wasteful. Here's one great example. What you're doing right now this morning. And the statistics get lower and lower as far as how many people go to church on Sunday morning. Now that changed right after September 11th, but only lasted for a period of time where the attendance spiked and then it went back down because people were reminded of their mortality and of the uncertainty of life. But when we get back to comfortable things, but you know what, brethren? A lot of people would look at what you're doing right now as wasteful. Wasteful for your time because you normally could be doing what? Let me hear it. Sleeping. Or, of course, it's been winter time. I would say going out to the lake. A couple more months we'll be able to do that. They'll be able to do that. Our time, our energy, the commitment that we make, possessions of ways in which we minister to the Lord. Now, I use that phrase very deliberately because that's exactly what this woman was doing when she came in. Even though the disciples just didn't get it, she did. She was ministering to Jesus at a time in which He was preparing Himself to go to the cross. Now that's a phrase, ministering to the Lord, that's actually, we don't talk very much about. How do you minister to the Lord? Now we can see how she did it. Anointing His body before its death, before his death. But here in Acts chapter 13 verse 2, Acts 13 verse 2, Luke writes this. He says, and while they, that is the apostles and prophets and the early church there, were ministering to the Lord and fasting, the Holy Spirit then talked to them and told them to pick out a few people. But the phrase is used here, as they were ministering to the Lord wasn't there. The Lord had gone up into heaven. By Acts chapter 13, several years have passed on now. He's sitting at the right hand of God. And yet He calls it ministering to the Lord. How are they doing that? Exactly what we're doing this morning. Praying, singing, the fruit of the lips, praising, offering up a sacrifice of my life and my time this morning to honor Him. Look, as much as it is for us, what we do, like right now at this particular time, it is also for Him. Because we are honoring Him with this time, with our resources, dedicating our lives. And therefore He calls it ministering to the Lord. Now, we can do that on a very personal level. It doesn't have to just be here, obviously. I hope it's beyond this. I hope that what we do here on Sunday mornings or on Sunday night or on Wednesday night is just a motivation that pushes us to do this during the week, in our private lives in which we are ministering to the Lord. When He says, whatever you do, do with your full might. Unto the Lord. Whatever you do in the name of the Lord. Whatever you do, do in the name of the Lord. Unto Him. The opportunities that we have to speak of Him. To be a fragrance. To be the sweet fragrance of the Lord. To a world that smells of death. Our lives. How we live. How we act. But brethren, we can also do it collectively as a church. Just those of you, just turn around and just look toward the back of the building. Go ahead. You see that blue thing back there? How am I doing, Wendell? All right. You know where we're going to put that? Now, for the last 3 years, we've used that thing. That goes into the expo next Saturday from 10 to 4. We've got a table there. We're going to, just as an opportunity that the chamber has provided for us. It's just one way. That you can come, brothers and sisters, support the work, show the Lord, show the community, the relationship that you have to the Lord. Be present. All right? We still have 2 slots left on there, and all we need is just one couple.